So in today's episode, I'll be talking to you about how I'm taking notes on iPad Air and what actually have made me to get this iPad Air, as well as what are the tips and tricks and what are the benefits of it. So if you're new here, I'm Amal. I'm a supply chain manager here in Penang, Malaysia. And as an expat, I'm also taking a part-time MBA here in University Sains Malaysia. It's a local university. So within the year while I'll be studying here, I was always taking notes using papers. So basically, when you're using the papers, there are a lot of hustle and they're very hard to find and easy to get lost. So studying MBA in good old days, the old-fashioned is taking notes by physical papers, and sometimes printing those notes was actually a very hassle. And since we moved to MCO due to coronavirus, all our classes started to get online. So that was a time when I decided to get an iPad. So I was thinking I might not really need it and I will not actually use it, and I'll be only end up watching Netflix, or it will be just lying around the house. But actually, for my surprise, it actually watching all the productivity guru Ali Abdal, as he is a medical student, and as you know, as medical student you need to take a lot of notes. I was always surprised why did he choose actually having an iPad and to take notes. As you know, like medical students take a lot of notes and they take a lot of data, and they need to carry a lot of books. So that was a time it makes sense to me to actually get an iPad. So I'll divide this video into several categories. First is I'll be talking about what accessories I have purchased with my iPad Air. Last Christmas, my wife decided to present to me the iPad Air. So using my company benefits as well, I tried to actually get some other accessories which I thought will be very useful for me. And one of the most useful accessory that I have is of course an Apple Pencil. With Apple Pencil too, so you can do many functions with it. So I can actually dedicate a separate video for actually the functionality of this pencil. So the first thing I got was actually a paper-like screen protector. So basically, whenever you're writing notes, you feel like it's actually how it was told online. And actually when I saw the reviews saying, because I never actually experienced this, but once I installed it, it really feels like you're writing on paper. So that's the first accessory I got. So the second accessory which I got was Apple Pencil, and I can actually dedicate a separate video just actually talking about the Apple Pencil, but it has a lot of functionality. So one of the functionality it has, so when on the double tap, you can actually skip to cleaner or eraser, and then the erasing function, and then the double tap back to the pencil function. So as well as they have the typography function, whereby actually I can write something and it will convert back to text. Well, it's not often I use this function. So another accessory which I have purchased was this keyboard folio. So I think this is the only accessory which actually I do not really use quite often, because I don't really type a lot on iPad, and I feel like it's an accessory which you might need it if you type a lot. But if, let's say, you type not so much, and let's say you do not really have a lot of data, and most of the time maybe you will be using it for your note taking, using the pencil, it's much more preferable rather than taking this keyboard. So another great feature which I find very useful is when I actually download the digital versions of my book, and actually all the slides that I actually get at my MBA courses, is that I keep a copy of them using a Notability app, as well as is actually storing adding notes to the main app, and then it stores all my data there. So one of the functions actually which I really like about Notability is actually it automatically syncs up with my MacBook and my Mac Mini. So whenever I'm actually want to just read through any note, is actually I take it back from the cloud, which is linked with my iCloud, as well as taking notes there when I want to retrieve it. And one of the functions that I really like about Notability is actually if I want to capture a screenshot right from the computer where I'm working and paste it here, basically it might be a solution for the question, or it might be a question itself from the book or from the presenter point of view, from the lecturer. So if I want to take a screenshot, I can straight away take a screenshot from my Mac and directly paste it here. So this is the functionality I really like and I really enjoy. So how it helped me in terms of productivity is when actually I'm doing my work, or I'm doing a research, or I'm doing a calculation, I can easily snap a screenshot whenever the lecture is going online. Or if let's say you're in the class, you can literally snap the photo on the blackboard or on the presenter or the monitor and actually paste it back to the Notability. So in this way, you do not need to spend a lot of time writing out the question. And there's a lot of apps actually when you can take a photo of the book and it can actually convert back to text, so you do not need to actually waste time on typing out the question, which is actually getting it bored. And you can just simply crop it and paste it there and write out the solution. So whenever people will be looking back and forward to the blackboard, and they'll be looking back to the screen and looking back to their paper to see the question, I find it more productive if you are actually doing everything on the one scale. And talking of another feature that I really like about iPad Air is about the functionality of the split screen. So in the functionality of the split screen, actually basically I can have like another mirror open straight towards the note that I'm taking. And for example, if I want to open a note-taking app, right? For example, if I want to open my email, I can open my email on one side and I can be writing the notes on another side. Or for example, I want to open a temporary window, which is maybe for my Google search, whenever I do not know the definition of something, or I do not know the formula for something. So I can temporarily open this window and I can scroll it back. So that's how it's going to look. So let's say I'm having a temporary window here. I can also zoom in, see the answer, or see what I was searching for, and just tap it back. And that's where it helps really a lot of the time. So in terms of productivity, the split screen have really helped me a lot. So I use it mostly with the split screen. So anytime if I want to look at the question, I do not need to look back to the book or to the blackboard or to the presenter's screen. I can straight away look at my digital book, which I download, as well as I can look on one side and look at the question, or crop the photo of the question and paste it there. So that's how I find it very productive, and actually it helped me a lot. So another feature which I want to highlight about Notability is actually it can search your handwritten notes. So for instance, I want to search back on my lectures back from economics, for example, or accounting. And let's say if I want to relate it back to, let's say, semester 1, while I'm maybe way far in semester 3, it actually can recognize back my notes. And I'll tell you why it's actually very, very useful for me. In terms of productivity, it saves my time is actually going through the notes and finding them if they are written physically, or forgetting about them where they are located. Even sometimes when you're looking at your own handwritten notes, especially for me, I find it very hard to actually identify what did I write a semester ago, or what did I write maybe 1 month ago. I can definitely forget it. Or for example, why did I put this mark? So another feature which I like about the Notability is the sound recording function, whereby it's, in my opinion, it's better to use when you have a physical face-to-face class, or you are in your auditorium, whereby if the lecturer is speaking and you press the record button and you start writing. And you can also apply it inside when you're having online classes, but then you're supposed to have a speaker for this. Why? Because whenever you are writing a note and you press the record button there, so what it helps is when you're writing the note and when you replay back the notes, it can go back to the time where was the note written. So for example, if you are scrolling back in the timeline of the recording, it tells you where exactly you wrote it. So I find it very, very useful. It's because a lot of times is when we are studying or when we are consuming information, sometimes what we consume by our vision or our eyes is different than what we consume with our ears. I don't know about you, but that's how it's for me, and it's always been like that. So there's a lot of things, if I visually see it, I will remember it in a different way, and if I hear it, I will remember it in a different way. So if I have the functionality where I can replay back the lecture and replay back and to see where was the note written, where Notability helps me, I can refresh back my memory and it can stay there. Another functionality which I really find it very useful is actually that Notability having an option to change the color of the paper. I have never been actually had a chance to have a paper or a notebook which has black pages. So having the black pages, as they say, it boosts up your productivity and your attention towards your notes. For example, when you invert the colors. So for example, let's say if your paper is black and you write with a white pencil, your concentration on those notes are different. I never had an opportunity to find a white pencil or white color pen on the black paper. So basically what they're trying to say is you invert back the colors, or your process that you used to do it based on the traditional way. So how it helped me is actually I really find it very interesting, and since then I really apply this method, and now I'm using this method of taking notes, but it's up to you whichever you want to take. So another advantage I find as an MBA student taking notes on iPad rather than on physical notes is when you are taking notes and it involves diagrams. Sometimes you can paste the diagram via the picture, or sometimes you need to draw it if it's not available in the notes or online. So whenever you're drawing, actually using your hand, you cannot rectify it when you're using on a physical paper, and it will look ugly. For example, the arrows or the boxes when you're drawing fast. But with the help of Notability, it's actually when you draw a circle and you hold like maybe for a second, it will draw a perfect circle or an oval, or even a square, whatever you want to draw. Whatever shape you want to draw, it will notice your pattern and it will adjust to this. So I find it really useful, and it saves me a lot of time in actually just drawing the perfect circle or the shape. So I can literally just hold it for 1 second, it will identify it, and then I can just keep on writing my notes, and this saves me a lot of time. So as a conclusion, what iPad should you get? Of course, many of you might get it based on your budget, but if you get the most cheapest one, you might not get the real experience on actually writing the notes, because I have tried on the store the previous iPad editions, and it doesn't feel the same when you're writing, especially about the speed of them. So I find that my mid-range, of course there were iPad Pros, which again 11 inches or like 13 inches, which is not really relevant for me. And I find that iPad Air using the A14 Bionic chip was really suitable for me. It doesn't have the highest specs on refresh rate, for example, or too high of capacity on the memory. I bought a simple Wi-Fi version of it, and I find it can complete the majority of my tasks in terms of writing notes and referring. As well, there is of course advantage if you want to get a computer-like iPad, which is a new, as of today, April 2021, Apple released MacBook Pro, which powered by M1 Micro Bionic chip, which is powered by M1. So this one is basically the same power as Mac Mini, and it obviously can replace your computer for some reason, but I do not really find so comfortable that I can say that iPad can replace my MacBook or replace my computer. I can say it can be sort of like a temporary replacement. Let's say, for example, if I want to travel light and I just want to take something on like keyboard and take notes and have it for a very temporary time, yes, I can say that. But for full video editing and photo editing, that will be quite a challenge for me, but I don't know for you. So to conclude, what do you guys think? Can a MacBook be replaced by an iPad? Since now MacBook Pros are coming with the same M1 chip, which is powering the MacBook Pro and Mac Mini. So with this powerful M1 chip, can it be replaced? Let me know down in the comments, and like the video, share, and thank you guys for watching. See you guys at next.